Hey, Walter Sorrells back with more tips for the knife maker. Today, a samurai challenge, and you're the judge. So, fun video today. I'm helping to judge an internet challenge called the Samurai Challenge. Bunch of YouTube bladesmiths are making samurai themed blades, and then they're making a video about making the blade. So the challenge is not just to make the blade, but to make a fun, amusing video to go along with it. So there are about 10 smiths who participated and made a bunch of really cool blades. So we're going to be going through some of their videos today and checking out the swords that they made. Actually, I say swords, but they're not all swords. In fact, one's not even a blade at all, but we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, today I'm going to give you a little preview and tour everybody's blades. Hopefully, after a quick nibble here, you'll want to check out the videos and maybe even have a say in the voting. I'll have links down in the description for each of the videos as well as for the voting page. Now look, if you're one of these traditionalists who think that any alternative, modern, different, Western, mechanized, whatever approach to Japanese sword making is the work of the devil, and you got to keep a straight face and roll your R's every time you say a Japanese word and all that stuff, okay, just go ahead and skip these videos. It's not for you. So to me, one of the really fun things about this challenge was to see how all these different guys, different skill sets, different backgrounds, different interests as makers took on this challenge. None of them had a background in Japanese sword making. So, some of them gave a pretty solid nod to the tradition, some didn't at all. But the point here was just to have fun, make something cool, and, have a little bit of a connection to samurai culture. Historical accuracy was absolutely not intended to be on the radar at all, and that's cool. There were also 4 judges who participated but aren't eligible to win, and I'll mention those as I go. Also, since these guys are all YouTubers, I'll mostly refer to them by their YouTube handles rather than by their actual names. All right, let's jump in. We'll start with a project I really liked from Heavy Forge, which used what's known as orishigane as the steel. Orishigane is a steel making method which uses modern steel or iron to produce something resembling ancient style tamahagane, which is the traditional source of steel used by Japanese smiths for Japanese swords. This is a lot of work. He starts by basically melting/welding a whole bunch of modern steel in a fire, and all this results in a bloom that's consolidated and forge welded and then folded in much the same way that traditional smiths folded steel. You get a result that's pretty similar looking to traditional Japanese steel. After the war in Japan, you couldn't get tamahagane, so a lot of traditional Japanese smiths used methods similar to this for a few years until tamahagane went into production again. Anyway, here's the result. Pretty cool effect. I think it really does look very traditional. By the way, I should mention the goal here was not just to make nice blades, but to make fun videos about the whole process. So there's a lot of creativity on display, and some of these are just super fun videos, whether you care about swords or not. So let me turn to a guy who really put some effort into the video presentation. This one's from Lepic Knives. There's no sound on these clips, by the way, because some of them have music, and I don't want to walk into any copyright strikes by accident. So in a lot of these, you're not going to hear the original sound. This one's from Lepic Knives. He did a lot of forge welding, so much, in fact, that his first version was a bit of a train wreck. Kudos to him for keeping going, starting over, and producing a really nice sword in the end. Highly amusing video also. Now we'll turn to JPs Blade Works. He started with ball bearings, making some can steel.
Anybody who saw me compete on Forged in Fire will know why I wouldn't wish ball-bearing Damascus on my worst enemy, but he did a great job with a very tough challenge, overcoming some struggles with the material along the way. Cool sword, cool video.
I was, of course, glad to see a fair number of defenseless water bottles being sacrificed in these videos, and also some very unfortunate vegetables were sent to the great garden in the sky.
And now for something different. Here's Blackbeard Projects. He's making a kama, which is a weapon that was based on a traditional rice sickle. As an old worn-out karate guy myself, I enjoy seeing blades that come out of that Okinawan tradition. He's making his out of mystery steel with a leather-wrapped handle. Nice flow to these handles. I really like the looks of these.
Hey, while I'm talking about Japanese swords, a lot of you may know that I got my start as a smith making Japanese swords. While we're going, I'll show a couple things that I've made over the years. Anyway, if you're interested in traveling down that path, I've got a series of long-form videos that will show you how to forge Japanese swords, along with a number of the other aspects of Japanese sword making, like polishing, handle wrapping, scabbard making, fittings. Now, I produced them originally on DVD way back in the day, but if you're one of those guys who's been waiting for me to join the 21st century, they are available in streaming form now. So, link in the cards and description.
And while I'm flogging stuff, I should mention that many of the guys use fairly traditional methods of making Japanese sword handles, which involves hollowing out the handle so that the tang of the sword will fit in it. The best tool to do that is a Japanese scabbard chisel known as a Sayanomi. I just happen to make those myself. Got a bunch of them in stock that I just forged, so check those out too. WalterSorrellsBlades.com.
All right, back to it.
Next, Dennis Terell. Let me mention that Dennis of Terell Knife Works is the organizer of the challenge and one of the judges, so he's not eligible for voting, but still, beautiful blade. He went all in with a Damascus blade that includes a layer of pure silver. This is a great example of a really non-traditional approach and a really nice result. Going a little smaller, we've got Brian Cone of B Cone Knives. He challenged himself to make a mini katana in 5 hours. I'll let you get his explanation of how that came to pass when you go check out his video. And from Faraway Forge, used a lot of nice modern techniques here to turn this old transmission shaft or PTO shaft or whatever it is into a pretty badass blade. Old Hickory Forge. Here John Norman makes a sword which he dedicated to his father. I'd encourage you to watch his full video to find out more about that. It's a very heartfelt thing, and he's doing something very cool on here. He's going Damascus too, with 1,000 layers of 1084 and 15 and 20. From the Rivers experience, we've got another project I really enjoyed. It's a blade, honestly a little more like a Da or one of those Southeast Asian blades than a typical samurai blade, but with some nice Japanese-esque touches in the handle. The point on all these videos is samurai inspiration, not strict imitation. This one has a really nice flow, just a very clean, clear sense of personality and overall design. I really like this blade. From Tony Severio Knives, a walking cane Tanto.
Of 240 layer Damascus that I made a few weeks ago. That ain't how you make a Tanto. I didn't say I was making a Tanto the traditional way. Well, I'm gonna make mine the real way.
Not only a really nice build, but an extremely funny video. This is what's known as Gomy construction, meaning 5 layers, though in a sense it's really got 500 layers. Basically, it's a 250-ish layer Damascus on the outside with an intermediate layer of 15 and 20, a nickel steel that leaves a bright streak in the middle, and then 1084 is in the center for the cutting edge. The blade's hidden in a walking stick cane fabricated from bamboo. Here's Nord Artisan making a, samurai butter knife. I was kind of surprised to see that most of the guys doing this build didn't use differential hardening to produce hamones, which to me is really one of the funnest features of Japanese swords. This butter knife though, hamon right there. Another video that had a lot of work put into a fun presentation. Rainy Day Forge. He's making Yoichi's Type 0 katana. Yeah, I'm sold. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what anime is. They didn't have that in my day. Anyway, super fun build.
Slap sideways because it doesn't have that mass on the back of it, so it lands more precisely. It's physics.
Redbeard Ops. He's got a deservedly popular YouTube channel. He's doing a half Bowie, half wakizashi that he calls a bokizashi. Lasers, compound handles, all kind of fun, creative stuff here. Also, I was gratified to see that he used this gizmo that I call a hibaki slammer to make his hibaki. I made one and started using it about 20 odd years ago, and honestly I can't even remember if I came up with the design or I'm just the one who sort of popularized it. Lost in the mists of history, I guess. Anyway, he made some nice refinements to the hibaki slammer too, and that was kind of cool to see. And last but not least, I promised one weapon that is not a blade at all. PJT Forging made a Sodagami, which is a weapon that was used by police in Japan a century or two ago. The explanation I always heard about this weapon was that the police would sometimes have to arrest people of higher status, like samurai, who they weren't supposed to kill. So the Sodagami was a pole weapon that was intended to tangle up in your clothes, as well as allowing you to block swords, which, of course, back in those days, only samurai could carry without getting the policeman hurt. Anyway, it's really one of the most unique and fun builds of the whole challenge. Also, very amusing little montage at the end. Fun build, fun video.
Okay, so that about wraps it up. I hope you had as much fun as I did, but by all means, check out the full-length videos for yourself and vote for the one that you think is best. Again, info on all that good stuff down in the description. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and make sure that you click on that bell so you get notified of all the latest videos. Want to buy a knife from me? Check out my modern blades at tacticsarmory.com. Digging the channel? You can support our video making efforts on Patreon. You know, I've been banging away on these videos for like 10 years, so I hope you'll show some love for all that hard work. Link in the cards and descriptions. Finally, if you're interested in making Japanese swords, check out my full line of Japanese sword videos where I show how to forge Japanese swords as well as how to polish them and how to make fittings, handles, and scabbards. WalterSorrellsBlades.com.